I would like to hear the point of view of the people who actually want to expand UCSC campus, because I'm sure they have good reasons to do that. And I totally agree with everything that was said, and I really agree with the fact that the land that indigenous people have, they should not lose it anymore. Like they lost like so many things, they shouldn't lose what it remains.
If it's any comfort to you, Rick and I don't know, maybe it was about a month ago now, we're up on campus and exactly what you asked about was taking place. There were people on both sides of the issue. So there are some meetings where both sides and some meetings were just one side, and there are lots of meetings with just the development side.
My name is John Aird, and I participated over 8 months in lawsuits that were initiated by us vis-a-vis the long-range development plan, by the city, also on the same issue with the university. One time there were 8 lawsuits. In the hearings that were held by the judge to deal with these lawsuits, his most telling point was, you can keep spending money on countersuits and suits, or you can try to engage in a negotiated settlement of some kind. And the conclusion was that that process should be engaged, and so the community group, the Coalition for Limiting University Expansion, the county and city, and the university itself sat down. The university's view is, and I think this is a fair statement, is that it has a responsibility to the citizens of California to educate a certain proportion of students. And that is their mandate. So while they try to be, I think, in their own way, a good neighbor, it's not the first priority that they've got. So the whole issue here, from our standpoint, was how can we bring about a balance between a growth that we thought was way in excess of the carrying capacity of this community. In fact, we suggested that they go about their development in a different way, that they develop additional campuses at other sites which wouldn't put such a footprint to use, on this locale, because we're resourced out. But in the end, what happened was we thought we had a partnership with the city, and we thought we were really basically on the same, more or less on the same theme to represent the interests of the community that was being impacted. Well, the city did have a partner, but it really wasn't CLU. It was the university. They decided that if they could get enough money out of this process to mitigate certain of the city expenditures, that then in the end, supporting this thing was in the interests of their definition of what was best for the community. And so the idea that development should occur, which would energize the economy, was an important priority for the city. That was absolutely in sync with the university, and that's why a deal was struck. I just want to say one other thing. When you think about it, the desal plant is a strange idea. I think it's more or less of a Trojan horse. I think it really is a development, because once it's built, there will be water to the North Campus, it will be developed, and then how difficult is it to go to phase 2 and phase 3, which is really what is being envisioned and planned in the desal plant. So it really is about a larger changing of the texture of this community. What is really healthy is to have a balance between those two. It's best for the university and it's best for the community.
There's a shift going on in the university right now where it's not about making like a strong education for people. As you see, like ethnic studies classes dropping at the wayside, community studies down the drain, all these social sciences are falling away. And what's profitable is genetic engineering, like the genetic engineering, that building that was just made, that a lot of people fought really hard to stop. And so corporations are paying the university so that they build these facilities.
How close to the seep zone do
Yes.
they plan to develop? You know, and you read up on what the seep zone is and you go visit it, and it's really a lot of it's, they don't know too much about how that water works through this underground network of caves that's totally unique in North America. And I went to this campus and studied the natural history and hiked around a lot, and I pretty much came to the consensus that this area should be a state park, not a university. And that's kind of the way that I see this place. It's like, and like everyone's saying, it should be preserved for its cultural and natural resources that are unique and amazing.
Gary, you were nodding your head. You want to take at least part of that?
Well, I'm not certain I'm a master of the environmental impact report and what's been done in terms of the seep zone, but I believe it's correct to say that in connection with the long-range development plan, when the university adopted that, they eliminated about 300 acres of the natural reserve. They redesignated a former natural reserve to development opportunity, and about 260 acres of that would actually be developed, as I think I've got the figures about right.
Somebody asked me when I was asking for signatures on the petition, he said, all these new students are applying to the university, don't need somewhere to house them. That was the long and the short of it, and I really didn't know what to say.
In their negotiations, they were proposing, you know, developing new campuses in places that aren't maxed out in terms of their resources. I mean, at these hearings, you know, you go to the hearings and either Chancellor Blumenthal is there or somebody's reading a statement from them saying that, you know, this has got to happen. LAFCO's got to say yes to this expansion because, you know, we've got to educate our young people, and that's what it's all about. So it's a choice. Either we're going to educate our young people, or we're not. We're going to save the fish instead, you know? And of course, that's a false choice. Anytime, I think, when we find that we're being forced to choose the lesser evil, you know, both choices are really bad, we know something. We know that we have abandoned our creativity as human beings. What we've heard tonight from Luta, from Natalie, is that you want conservation. We conserve what we love. You know? I think that's education. It's coming to love something, you know. And we had a question about, should we have natural laws for, you know, species other than humans, or, you know, should we, I don't know, legalism to protect humans? That you know, if you notice the answers to that question, it was not that we needed more laws, you know, we needed a heart connection. We needed people with experience being connected to nature.
Thank you. Thank all the panelists very much.